Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 17 years of broadcasting success, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. We're excited to welcome actor Adam Mendoza to our program today. Adam's one of those individuals who's been able to do what he loves in front of the camera, both as television as well as film. We'll talk to him about the journey, what it's been like for him to do what he loves, what he's been up to this year, and, of course, let you guys know how to stay connected with him as well. Adam, thank you so much for the time today. Really appreciate it.
Hey, Cyrus, thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
So, Adam, this has not been the traditional year, I know, for a lot of us, but especially in your industry, right? It's been a lot going on. However, you have had some projects you've been able to talk about like we're doing today. But I want to talk about the journey for you as an actor, though, overall, Adam. I mean, what has it been like for you as an actor to do what you love and then to be able to share that experience with all of us?
Oh, man, it's almost unexplainable, but, I'll give it a shot. I'd say I didn't get into the industry until I was a grown man, but it was something that, I've always loved film and television, so it was always in the back of my head. And, when I first got into it, I didn't know how addicting it could be. And, since then, I just stuck with it. I remember I saw a quote, I think it was in a movie or I don't remember quite where I heard it, but it was an acting coach speaking to his class, and he said he advised everyone to leave the class. If you don't have to be an actor, go do something else, and I realized at one point, I was like, wow, I really have to do this. Like, I need this. I realized that I was my happiest when I was on set. And it's one of those things, I've worked in construction in the past, and, construction workers can drive by a huge building and say, hey, I helped to build that. And there's a certain amount of, honor in that. So it's kind of good to see, like, hey, I helped build that. And being an actor, every single time, you complete a piece of work, it's there, and you can look back at it and say, like, wow, I did that. It's there, and I can, it's tangible, I guess. Well, actually, it's intangible. Right. I hope you get my meaning.
Right. Well, no, I totally get it. And I think that's one of the cool things about being passionate about what you're doing, because, I mean, it definitely becomes one of those things where you say, just like you did, Adam, that you have to do this. So then do you still have those moments? I mean, I know, like, this year, I mean, you've been able to, to be a part of, of some projects, but even in, leading up to this year, been a part of some amazing projects as well. Do you still have those wow moments when you kind of think about the work you've been able to do?
Yeah, every now and again it does hit you. It's usually in the moment, right when it happens, when you get that call and, you're booked and you got the gig. That just, that's really a high. I really enjoy it. Afterwards, though, I got to admit, I'm just going to be 100% honest here. There is actually the dip that comes after it, because I've seen other actors experience this, and when I heard them speak about it, it's something that I also have experienced. Is there is this thing that creeps in, and after you wrap a project, you're like, am I going to ever work again? What's going on here? It's been a few weeks. It's been a month, and so that can creep in too. So it's definitely a double-sided coin.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get that. And the thing is, as I mentioned, this not being the traditional year, though, Adam. I mean, one thing that is true is that other people experience what you're talking about, right? They know what that feels like. How does that feel to kind of have this camaraderie with your colleagues, as it were, that, other people who do understand exactly what you're feeling when it comes to the ups and even those down times?
You know what? It's good. It makes you feel not alone in the situation. And I would say this is with any area of work. It's good to be around your peers. Iron sharpens iron. You can learn from each other and things like that. And that was one of the I was reading a lot of books when I first got into the industry, and one thing that I learned that a lot of the books tend to mention was you have to surround yourself with like-minded people. And, that is helpful. When I have my little circle, and, like anything, right, you can't share everything with colleagues, but you might have your close circle that you can talk about, you can talk with them openly. And, yes, it does feel good. You can, bend somebody's ear and let them know maybe some of your challenges that you're going through, and to know that you're not alone. Everyone goes through it. It's helpful to me.
And I think that's the cool thing, too. And the other side of that, too, Adam, as we're talking about, your colleagues and other actors, you also have your fans that you've been able to pick up from project to project. Have you gotten used to that, the idea of having fans along this journey?
That's an interesting one. I don't know if you ever get used to it, because there's always that excitement. I've gone to a couple places and, it's announced that I was going to be there, and I'm just going to show some support for this or that. And every now and again, you will bump into somebody who has, like, all of your headshots, like, blown up and,
wow.
A 10x10, they're asking for autographs. And it feels good just, again, because it means that you did a piece of work, someone else saw it, and they appreciated it, and they took the time to say, hey, man, good work. And I totally get that, because, like me, I'm a big fan of film and television. I have been since I was a youngster. And, when I see other people's work, if I had the opportunity to tell them how much I appreciate it, I would like to, and so I totally get that, and I really enjoy it. It feels nice.
Well, I know it feels good for them as well to be able to support you. So, as I mentioned, you've been a part of a lot of great projects. Of course, one of the great things is you had worked on some projects previous to the shutdown this year, Adam, which allowed you, of course, to have projects to be able to talk about. So take us into what you've been up to this year. How did you kind of handle the year that's been 2020 with the projects you were promoting?
Well, it's been an interesting year, and yeah, you're right. I'm very lucky, and I'm very thankful that I was able to knock out a bit of work just before the beginning of the year, so that we had something coming out. It was pretty scary for a moment, though. I noticed everything was really slowing down, so it was pretty hectic. You're used to a certain amount of contact, with casting, per month, and I just saw during the pandemic, which totally makes sense. I totally get it. Everything
right.
slowed down. We were able to, like, during as the lockdown kind of slowly dissipated, they were opening certain things. We were able to do a premiere for a film that I did late last year. Cholo Zombies, the Cholo Zombies movie, which was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. As soon as I got on the project, when they told me the title of the movie, I felt like, oh, you know exactly what you're getting right from the title. Also, with that, am I right? Also, with that,
yeah.
It was one of the first times I got a direct booking where the producer and the writer, they had seen some of my work before. They reached out to me. We just had a good conversation, and they let me share some of my ideas. They let me know what their ideas were, and it was just a green light from there. They really just decided to have me on board. So super thankful for that, and we were able to, like I said, with the premiere, we actually did it in order to, keep social distancing and everything in order. We did it at a drive-in theater. And so it was a lot of fun, and I'm sure stand-up comedians will get this, and anybody who likes to make people laugh. It's always a joy when you can make people laugh, but when you can make
right.
like 200 or 300 cholos laugh, it's something special. It's something else when you see these hardcore guys with their face tattoos, and these guys are no joke, and just to hear them laugh, from the gut, it's something special, and I really enjoyed it,
Well, look, and I think that's the thing. I think, what you just shared, with the social distancing and, and doing a drive-in thing, we would have laughed at that even a year ago, right? That someone said they're doing
yeah.
And now it's like, that's the thing. It's like, okay, wow, you got one, you're able to get a it's like, it's so cool. And I think, too, it goes to the importance of navigating, right? So I want to talk to you about the importance of pushing forward. I love what you said earlier, Adam, about you had to do this. So is that kind of what helps you, even when you have a challenging year like 2020? Is that what helps you push through, knowing that this is just a part of who you are and you're just going to make it work?
I couldn't have put it better myself. It's one of those things where it has to. This is, maybe there's two schools of thought on whether or not you should identify yourself with your career. But for me, it's really worked. I don't want to, sing no sad story, but, I grew up in Los Angeles. I'm a native, and I didn't have, like, the easiest upbringing in the whole wide world. So to be in this industry and to do this kind of thing, it's how do you say it? I really identify with it. And I've never been happier in my whole life. Here's something I thought. Back when I was just a little tough guy running around the streets, I used to look at Hollywood and see actors and think of them as so fake. And even when I first got into the industry, I was like, oh, this is all just, having spent a little bit of time, I realized, no, Adam, this is not fake. These people are just really, really happy every day because they're doing what they love. And when that realization hit me, I was like, I am going nowhere else. This is where I'm staying,
That's powerful. That's powerful. Is that kind of your advice for others as well at this point, Adam, considering what you've been able to do? Because, I mean, you have the resume. I mean, you're building this resume. You continue to build it. I know you have projects in post-production. I noticed when I was prepping for this segment. So you are continuing to do the work. Is that what you tell people, that if you're not willing to do the work, that maybe it's not for them?
Yeah, you have to love the work. You have to kind of almost fall in love with the struggle, because it's not easy. It's not easy to take rejection. People can go on tons of auditions. You don't know what's going to happen. My advice would be, you have to love it, or else why would you stick around? And
right.
Second is, once you find that love, don't ever let go of it, because there's been times where I'm going through it and I just really just feel like giving up, but I can't because I need this. And just in that moment when I think it's at its worst, like during this pandemic, this whole thing, I mean, it all really slowed down, and only now is it picking back up again, where I'm in contact with casting and everything. Of course, now is self-tape. There's no more in-person meetings, but
right.
you just got to stick with it through the thick and the thin. If you love it, like if you love your football team, no matter they're winning or losing, you got to keep cheering, you got to keep rooting, and that's what's worked for me so far.
Yeah, it's a great reminder for all of us. Again, everyone, Adam Mendoza has been our guest. He's an actor who's been able to do what he loves, both for television and film. As you heard him say, he even had a chance to have his drive-in experience with the film Cholo Zombies. But other great projects Adam's been able to do as well. So, Adam, how can our audience stay connected with you to kind of keep up with the journey that you're on?
Mostly regarding social media, I'm mostly on Instagram. I enjoy that platform now that I finally learned it. It took me a little while, but I enjoy it. So you can catch me on Instagram. I'm under the actor Adam Mendoza. I know it's kind of long, but that's the handle.
Okay, so make sure you guys are following him there. And what we'll make sure that we do is we'll tag Adam as well to make it easy for you guys, for those joining us through iHeartRadio, to be able to find him there. Adam, really appreciate the time today, man. Glad you could stop by the program, and looking forward to having you on the show again.
Cyrus, thank you so much, man. It was nice talking with you, and I look forward to talking to you again.
Hey, man, definitely will make it happen. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live.